ignition.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another race analysis presented by Newtype Cycling. I'm your host, Jared. Dude, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Psych is high. Winter is upon us. Training is going down. Real quick, we just launched a new website, the team website, newtypecycling.com. It's got links to our blog, race videos, team bios, community events, stuff like that. So if you're into websites or if you have any background on them, feel free to shoot us a comment down below, give us a little bit of feedback, or reach out to us on Instagram. Any feedback we appreciated. All right, guys, jumping into the action here. We are in Wichita Falls, Texas. This is the 3-4 crit race. It's a 40-minute crit. You guys have seen the previous video where I did the Hotter Than Hell 100 preview ride, where it was just like riding along with us, checking out all the different stops. Fantastic ride. So that was on Saturday. This crit race was on the following Sunday in the morning. If you look ahead, we've got a teammate with me, current teammate now, just brought Jake on the squad. He was just happened to be up in northern Texas at the same weekend of this event, and he borrowed his grandfather's bike. So he's riding a bike that is a little bit too big for him. Crank arm's a little too long. The fitment's not just right, but he was psyched, and he rode over to Wichita Falls, and I brought him a jersey, and so we're riding and having a good time. To give a quick breakdown, this crit race ties into a 3-day Omnium event. There was 2 road races, Friday and Saturday, and then this crit race on Sunday. So there's a lot of teams in here doing a bunch of different strategies and stuff like that to try and maintain the lead or gain points to move into the lead. So it was pretty cool for me and Jake to show up out of nowhere and kind of, throw a wrench in their system a little bit and try and shake some stuff up. So we're just going for the win and trying to conserve energy while all these other guys do all the work and trying to cover all the moves. That's the plan. Jumping ahead into the action, we're 4 minutes in, and we got one guy off the front. It's the first couple of minutes were pretty chill. Everyone's just kind of getting used to the course. If you look up at the course map, I do not recall what the wind direction was for this race back in August of 2021, but all these big buildings made it really easy and smooth to ride through. Except for that home stretch, you could definitely feel some wind. I just don't recall what direction it was. This course is awesome. It's got long straightaway, left-handers, right-handers, wide turns. There's no real big barriers or blockage anywhere to kind of funnel you in. It kind of plays into the flow of the ride, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But overall, I love this course. I wish here in the Carolinas we had more ability to do circuits like this. Since I've ridden this course, it's really put the idea in my mind to look around the local city and check to see if there's any possibilities to do a similar course to this, because it was super fun. There's action everywhere, and you're closing stuff down each corner. But right here, we got to attack up on the left. These guys are getting motivated. Again, there's one guy off the front, and we catch him, and so immediately there's a counterattack. If you look up in the front right here, the guy in the red bibs with the white shirt, there's this guy in front of me as well with the black bibs and the white shirt. Those are 2 teammates. Kind of look for their kits. It's like a white with a tribal accent on it. I forget their team name, but I want to say they had 5 or 6 guys in this field of, I believe it was a field of 30 to 35 that ended up showing up to the line. Really cool. Pace ramps up, and I get a little jittery right here. Start making moves up on the outside to try and pull that down, because since we caught that one flyer, 2 guys launched, and now we've got a break. So I kind of attack pretty deep in from the group. I probably should have, rewatching this, moved up a little bit further, maybe 4th, 3rd wheel, kind of gave myself a half a lap to reset and then launch my attack. But as you see, I'm running 400, 500 watts right here. This is not sustainable for me. I am nowhere close to that type of fitness. I start throttling it down right through this section. But when you're out on this break right here, I look back a couple of times to check to see what's going on. I wasn't sure if they were going to come chase me down, but coming on this turn right here, this stretch where you get this wind, it really kind of, when you're out there by yourself, it's just tough. You're out on the front getting soloed, and now if you look in rear cam, they're just sucking me back up. So I kind of started the anticipation and kind of got everybody a little riled up to go on these attacks and try and reel these guys back in, because again, with that team with the tribal kit, they are super focused on just like letting a break go, getting a guy up the field just so they can like maintain that omnium for whatever rider has it. But perfect counter by Jake. He's running second wheel right now, and the guys coming by me, and they're keeping the pace up to charge in and pull those guys back. I don't do such a great job right here. I probably should have slotted in right in here, 10th wheel to recover, but I kind of keep falling back further and further. And I noticed that throughout the race, like I did that. And that's something definitely to work on this coming season, to, not fall back as far and lose all that position I had, because it really doesn't do me any good. What it does is later in the race, that's just that many more people I have to pass and wheels I have to fight. But the break ends up coming back. This actually worked pretty well. It was surprisingly tough to get people motivated to work together and to try and attack and stuff like that. So it kind of is what it is. You're kind of learning. We're in a new area, new riders. We're kind of learning everyone's style and how they like to race. Moving on, guys. 19 minutes in, out of a 40-minute crit. There's a reminder. We got 2 guys off the front again, and they've been out there for a lap or 2, and no one seems to be really motivated to go get them. That tribal team kit is doing a really good job kind of sitting on the front, doing fake pulls, however you want to call it, blocking here and there, nonchalantly, and not making it really obvious that they don't want to do anything. Well, while me and Jake are just kind of in the back, like surfing wheels, as soon as that happens, boom, somebody gets motivated and they go and attack right here. And it really helps get this group back together and get the speed back up. Instead of me putting it down another like 500, 600 watts right here, I just slowly ramp up the pace and get in line and let people come around me to fill in those gaps. It's early in the race. We're only halfway. I'm not going to blow myself up and just do these mega watts just because someone goes on attack when I'm halfway in the field. This corner was really cool. I really had no issue with any of these corners. They were all super fun. The only issue I noticed throughout the race and rewatching this now is each turn is so wide except this one little section right here. And when it's so wide like that, everyone just kind of fans out, and you really have to like remind yourself and focus on like catching a wheel and just to stay in the draft of somebody. Me and Jake are here chatting it up right now, trying to figure out like where the moto went. Like, we can't see the moto, so there has to be somebody or a group of people off the front, and our strategy kind of goes out the window for a second. We're trying to figure out like what's going on. Super confused. That's a mistake both me and him made, because guess what? We're too far in the back. We can't see what's going on up in the front. So lesson learned there. Put that on the to-do list of getting better at. But to go back to Jake, super psyched for him to come down and ride with us. His crank arms are 175 on this bike he's riding on, and during the warm-up laps, he pedal striked like once or twice, and I was right behind him. So literally anytime I get behind him during this race, that's all I'm thinking about. I'm like so worried that he's gonna pedal strike in front of me, and then we're both gonna like be down in the dirt. But it was super cool that he got psyched in to ride this bike that he isn't very familiar with, and to come out here and put out a bunch of power and a lot of speed with on a course he's never been on. All right, guys, we're jumping ahead a little bit. We're 28 minutes in now, so just over 10 minutes left in this race. The attacks have been going very casually. It's all this tribal team, this with the white jersey with the black tribal-ish graphics on it, it's all them. They have just owned this whole race. It's been pretty impressive. And a couple of us are getting a little impatient, and we're wanting to go and wanting to do something. My heart rate's looking pretty good, 174. And so I'm feeling pretty fresh. So I'm thinking like, man, it's just at 10 minutes to go. Like, somebody's got to try something. I get a little lucky right here. This guy right here with the white helmet straight in front of me, he stands up out of the saddle, and just in time, another guy goes as well, and it kind of opens up something. But since we're so deep in the pack right here, we don't really gap these front riders, and this dude went as well. So our attack was maybe a little too soon or just a little too deep. And so I'm on a wheel. I feel pretty good. I don't do a head check or anything right here, but I don't realize that we kind of just like pull the entire group with us. And the guy in front of me, his pull is kind of too long in my opinion. I was waiting for him to flick me through any second now, but he kept holding it. And so I was just going to let him burn himself out, do whatever he wanted to. And then I was going to go. But coming out of this turn right here, I do a head check to see, like, do we still have a gap? Is there a gap? You know, what's going on? And we don't. We pulled the whole field with us, or our pull wasn't strong enough to get any separation. And that was kind of a wasted effort at that point. But I was hoping this, second little attack that I was involved in, or a little effort, would motivate some other non-teamed or non-Omnium contention teams to come in and pick the pace up, but it didn't, unfortunately. There's still two guys off the front. I believe they're like 15 to 20 seconds off right now, and it doesn't really help our effort to reel them in. Like, you look up at the road right now, you can't even see them. It's a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is. Like, I'm going for the win. I'm not going for anything else. So any of these efforts and stuff, it's not gonna happen. So these guys try a little counter, which is perfect and smart by them. I do not feel like that I'm responsible for covering this or like stitching this up. Luckily, we have other riders that fall in line and take a hold of this, and it kind of worked out. But here's another example of like where I'm just falling back. Like, my speed differential from everybody is just horrible, and I'm just falling back, like all the way back to the rear of the peloton, instead of slotting in more. That's frustrating, but it is what it is. At this point in the race too, I was really like sussing out like who looked fresh, whose bike handling skills I was noticing and like was really smooth, and which would come down to like the last 3 laps and stuff like that. So speaking of that, here we are, 3 to go. We're halfway through this 3 to go lap, and 2 guys still off front. They're nowhere to be seen. I'm not sure, like, I'm so far in the back that I'm like irrelevant at this point. I'm letting gaps open up like this. This guy to my right, he's been you can kind of tell he's on his limit a little bit, and you could tell he's getting tired. So the pace is ramping up. We're going 28 right now. Oh, he just threw a hand up, and I noticed this, and he just stops pedaling, and I'm just like so bummed, because me and this guy I followed earlier, we have to close down a gap back to the peloton. Poor positioning on my part. Got to be smarter. Got to not let those wheels open up. Super frustrating. During the race, like, I don't recall like being an issue. Other than that instance right there where he cleared, like, the rider just was tired and he just, threw a hand up and he was done. But it's unfortunate. I was feeling pretty good. My heart rate, it's not too bad. My max heart rate's like 202. So I live way up there all the time. But we're going to play out these last 2 laps to see what we can do, to see if there's any other tactics that we can implement, and see if me and Jake can shake up this thing a bit. So right here, like, hopping back on these turns, they're just so wide that everybody can kind of go wherever they want, and then you're not really feeling like you're getting that much of a draft. And I know the GoPro's like wide angle kind of makes it look like I'm further away than I am from this guy's wheel in front of me. But even that, like, people just can widen out, and it's just that much harder to make it more streamlined to stay in the draft. I don't know what I'm doing right here. At this point, you know, you can see some attrition has happened to the race. You know, where we started with like 30, 35, you know, we're clearly like, you know, 25 riders left-ish. All right, guys, we are coming to the bell lap right now. I recall in this race, like, coming across the line and hearing the bell, and I was like, where did lap 2 go? Like, where did lap 3 go? And I just kind of like spaced out, and then I realized, heard the bell, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm out of position, I'm in the back, like, I've got to fight my butt off to get to the front, and I've got a full team of guys that are super motivated to keep me out of there and keep me away. This is some of the funnest racing, though, is like the last lap on a course like this where you've got right-handers, left-handers, and everyone's jockeying for position. So I'm getting my wits about me. Boom, I see Jake. Find Jake. I'm on his wheel. He just checked back to see where I'm at. He's there wasn't really a plan going into this. Oh, so right there, he just clipped his pedal, and like I mentioned before, scared the crap out of me. What happened? Let a gap open up. This rider takes it. Dude, we're three corners from the finish straight. I've got to do something. So alarms start going off on my head, and I just say, let's send it. And that's exactly what I do. Start ramping up, getting a steamroll on the outside, horrible line. Not the preferred line by any means, but I recalled this gutter always kind of being opened up, or the left side of the track being opened up. There's this big diesel guy in front of me, rode with him, but what do? I just start opening up my sprint, and I'm not behind him. I kind of just let a gap open up. I pass a couple guys. This one guy to my right seems to be the only dude that made it by me. Crazy long sprint, super fun, so sick. Those 2 breakaway riders ended up staying. You can see them right there in front. That Tribal Kit team destroyed us all. They raced super smart. Me and Jake took a lot of lessons from this one, and hope to, you know, if ever make it back out to this event, would love to do this course again. It was such a good time. But anyway, guys, appreciate you sticking around. Got 1 or 2 more videos coming this winter while everyone's at home on their trainers or suffering this cold weather. But appreciate it, guys. See you on the next one.
Mission.